Rusty, you got to cover your camera now.
All right, here we go.
And be very quiet.
Yes, and quiet.
Oh, they're rolling in. There's my mother, first in line as usual. Good evening, welcome. Welcome, take your seats, get your popcorn, get your drinks, settle in. Oh, they're really streaming in tonight. Lots of names popping up there. Hope everyone's enjoying this lovely midsummer evening. Now that we're officially into summer, we had the solstice this past weekend. So happy summer, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed that after the downpour we got that day. Oh, they're still coming in. We'll give a few minutes here. Okay. Thank you all for being here, everybody. We love doing this. We love having you here. We're so grateful to have such dedicated audience members who come and join us for our weekly adventures here. And we have a very special treat for you tonight. This is a piece by George Bernard Shaw. And I don't think on Bowen Island we've really done much George Bernard Shaw. So this should be something new and exciting for a lot of people. Many of you probably would know him quite well from university and all the other places that he actually is quite widely produced. This is Augustus Does His Bit, a true-to-life farce. And I'm going to pass things over to my colleague here, Calder Stewart, who will start off the play. Enjoy.
Not much to say, guys, other than I think this is a super fun little piece, and I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Why must the show go on? It can't be all that indispensable. To me, it really isn't sensible on the whole.
The mayor's parlour in the town hall of Little Pifflington. Lord Augustus Highcastle, a distinguished member of the governing class, and very well preserved at 45, is comfortably seated at a writing table with his heels on it, reading the Morning Post. An elderly clerk with a short white beard and whiskers and a very red nose shuffles in as Lord Augustus uncovers his camera and looks up.
Hello? Who are you?
The staff.
You? The staff? What do you mean, man?
What I say, ain't no one else.
There ain't... Tosh, where are the others?
At the front.
Quite right. And most proper. And why aren't you at the front?
Over age 57.
Over age 50, but you can still do your bit. Many an older man is in the GRs or volunteering of home defence.
I have volunteered.
Then why are you not in uniform?
They said they wouldn't have me if I was given away with a packet of tea. Go home, they said. Don't be an old silly. Now, young Bill Knight that I took with me, he got 2 shillings and 7pence. I got nothing. This country's going to the dogs.
I do not ask you, sir, and I will not allow you to say such things in my presence. Our statesmen are the greatest known to history. Our generals are invincible. Our army is in the admiration of the world. How dare you tell me that the country, your country, my country is going to the dogs?
Well, why did they give young Bill Knight 2 shillings and 7pence and they didn't even give me my tram fare? Now, do you call that being a great statesman? As good as rubbing it or robbing it, I call it.
That's enough. You leave the room. And send me the secretary.
I am the secretary. I can't leave the room and send myself to you at the same time, can I?
Don't you be insolent. Where's the gentleman that I've been corresponding with? Mr. Horatio Floyd Beamish.
Here. Me.
You! Ridiculous! What right have you to call yourself by a pretentious name that sort?
Well, you can drop the Horatio Floyd if you want, but Beamish is good enough for me.
Is there nobody else to take my instructions?
That's me or nobody. And for 2 pins, I'd chuck it. Now, don't you drive me too far. Old ones like us are going to the top right now.
Listen, bloke, I'm doing as many English accents as I can for this piece. So look, if we were not at war, I should just charge you on the spot for disrespectful behavior. But England is in danger, and I cannot think of my personal dignity at such a moment. Don't you think of yours either. Worm that you are, I'll have you arrested under the Defense of the Realm Act, double quick, somewhere here.
What do I care about the realm? They done me out of 2 and 7 pence.
Damn you 2 and 7. Did you receive my letters?
Yes.
So I addressed a meeting here last night. I went straight to the platform from the train. I wrote to you that I should expect you to be present and report yourself. And why did you not do so?
The police wouldn't let me on the station.
Did you tell them who you are?
Well, they knew who I was. That's why they wouldn't let me up.
This is too silly for anything. What? This town wants a waking up. I made the best recruiting speech I've ever made in my life. And not a single man joined.
Well, what do you expect? You told them our gallant fellows is falling at a rate of 1,000 a day in the big push and dying for little Pickletons, you says. Come and take their places, you says. That ain't the way to recruit.
But excuse me, I expressly told them their widows would have pensions.
I heard you. Well, that would have been all right if you'd been the widows you were trying to get round. This
town is inhabited by dastards, and I say it with a full sense of responsibility. Dastards! No, that's not the right accent. Dastards! That's a terrible accent. They call themselves Englishmen, and they are afraid to fight. That's better.
Afraid to fight? You should see them on Saturday night outside the pub.
Yeah, they'll fight one another, but they won't fight the Germans.
Well, they got grudges against one another, don't they? How can they have grudges against the Huns they've never seen? They've got no imagination, that's what it is. Now bring the Huns over here and they'll quarrel with them fast enough.
They'll have them here if they're not careful. Look, have you carried out my orders about the war saving?
Yes.
Really? The
Yes.
allowance of petrol has been reduced by 3/4.
It has.
And you have told the motor car people to come here and arrange to start munition work now that their motor business is stopped.
No, it ain't stopped. They're busier than ever.
Busy at what?
Making small cars.
New cars?
The old cars can only do 12 miles to the gallon, and everybody has to have a car that will do 35 now.
Can they not take the bloody train?
Well, there ain't no trains now. They tore up the rails and sent them to the front.
This is perfectly monstrous.
Well, we have to get about somehow.
But this is not in the least what I intended.
Hell.
Sir, you call me
Hell,
sir.
they say, is paved with good intentions.
Do you mean to insinuate that hell is paved with my good intentions? With the good intentions of His Majesty's government?
I don't mean to insinuate anything until the Defence of the Realm Act is repealed. It ain't safe.
They told me that this town had set an example to all in England in the matter of economy. And I came down here to promise the mayor a knighthood for his exertions. I came down here all the way from Australia.
The mayor? Where do I come in?
You don't come in, you go out. This is a fool of a place. I'm greatly disappointed, deeply disappointed, and disgusted.
But what more can we do? We've shut up everything. The picture gallery is shut. The museum is shut. The theatre and the picture shows is shut. I haven't seen a movie picture for 6 months.
Man, Do you want to see a picture show when the Hun is at the gate?
I don't now, though it drove me melancholy mad at the time. At first, it was at the point of taking a pennyworth of rat poison.
Why didn't you?
Well, because a friend of mine advised me to take to drink instead. That saved my life, though it makes me a very poor company in the morning. Perhaps you've noticed.
Well, upon my soul, you are not ashamed to stand there and confess yourself a disgusting drunkard.
Well, what of it? We're at war now and everything's changed. Besides, I should lose my job here if I stood drinking at the bar. I'm a respectable man and must buy my drink and take it home with me. And they won't serve me with less than a quart. Now, if I told you before the war that I could get through a quart of whiskey in a day, I shouldn't have believed you. That's the good of war. It brings out powers in a man that he never suspected himself capable of. You said to yourself in your speech last night.
I did not know that I was talking face to face with an imbecile. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. There must be an end to this drunken slacking. I'm going to establish a new order of things here. I shall come down every morning before breakfast until things are properly in train. Have a cup of coffee and 2 rolls for me here every morning at 10:30.
You can't have any rolls. The only baker that baked rolls was a Hun, and he's been interned.
Right, too. And there was no Englishman to take his place.
There was, but he was caught spying, and they took him up to London and shot him.
Shh! You shot an Englishman!
Yeah, stands to reason. If the Germans wanted to spy, they wouldn't employ a German that everyone would suspect, would they?
Do you mean to say, you scoundrel, that an Englishman is capable of selling his country to the enemy for gold?
Well, not as a general rule, I wouldn't say, but there's men here that will sell their own mothers for 2 coppers if they get the chance.
Beamish! Beamish! It's an ill bird that fouls its own nest.
It wasn't me that let little Picklington get foul. I don't belong to the governing classes. I only tell you that you can't have roles.
Can you tell me where I can find an intelligent being to take my orders?
For one of the streeters used to teach in the school until it was shut down for the sake of economy. Will he do?
What? You mean to tell me that when the lives of the gallant fellows in our trenches and the fate of the British Empire depend on our keeping up with the supply of shells, you are wasting money on sweeping the streets?
Well, we have to. We dropped it for a while, but the infant death rate went through the roof. Something frightful.
What matters the death rate of little Pifflington in a moment like this? Think of our gallant soldiers, not of your squalling infants.
If you want soldiers, you've got to have children. You can't buy them in boxes like tin soldiers.
Beamish! The long and the short of it is, you are no patriot. Go downstairs to your office and have the gas stove taken away and replaced by an ordinary grate. The Board of Trade has urged on me the necessity for economizing gas.
Our orders from the Ministry of Munitions is to use gas instead of coal because it saves material. So, which is it to be?
Both, Beamish, both. Don't criticize your orders, obey them. Yours is not to reason why, yours, but to do and die. That's war.
Yes, I want a raise.
Can I just... A raise? Horatio Floyd Beamish, do you know that we are at war?
Yeah, well, I've noticed something like it in the papers. You had mentioned it yourself for a while, come to think of it.
Our gallant fellows are dying in the trenches and you want a flipping raise.
What are they dying for? To keep me alive, aren't they? Well, what's the good of that if I'm dead of hunger by the time they come back?
Everybody else is making sacrifices without a thought of self, and you stand here in front of me and you're free to cut me off any time because I'm out of lines to say.
Not half they ain't. Where's the baker's sacrifice? Where's the coal merchants? Where's the butchers? Charging me double when they get their sacrifice themselves. Well, I want to sacrifice myself that way too. No, double next Saturday. Double and not a penny less, or no secretary for you.
Go! You miserable pro-German.
Who are you calling a pro-German?
Another word, and I'll charge you under the act of discouraging me. Go!
The clerk blenches and goes out, bowed. The telephone rings.
Where did that come from? Hello? Yes? Who are you? Oh, Lulu, is it? Yes. There's nobody in the room. I'm in a different country now, actually. Fire away, what? A spy? A woman? Yes? Brought it down with me. Do you suppose I'm such a fool as to let it out of my hands? Why, it gives a list of all our anti-aircraft emplacements from Ramsgate to Skegness. The Germans would give $1 million for it. What? What? But how could she possibly know about it? No, I haven't mentioned it to a soul. Well, except, of course, dear Lucy. Oh, well, Toto and Lady Popham and the lot, but they don't count. I mean, they're all right, you know. What I mean is that I haven't mentioned it to any Germans. Pooh! Don't you be nervous, old chap. I know you think me a fool, but I'm not such a fool as all that. If she tries to get it out of me, I'll have her in the tower before you ring up again. Right up the tower. Shh. Hold on. Somebody's coming. Just come. Okay, ring off. Goodbye. This is cool.
Are you engaged?
What business is that of yours? However, if you will take the trouble to read the society papers for this week, you will see that I am in fact engaged to the Honourable Lucy Popham, youngest daughter of, well, he's a good man, he owns the bakery.
I ain't what I mean. Can you see a female?
Of course, I can see a female as easy as I can see a male. Do you suppose that I'm blind all of a sudden?
You don't seem to follow me somehow. Now, there is a female downstairs, what you might call a lady. Now, she wants to know, can you see her if you let her up?
Oh, you mean, man, am I disengaged?
Yeah.
Tell the lady I've just received news of the greatest importance, which will occupy my entire attention for the rest of the day, and that she must write for an appointment.
Well, I'll ask her to explain her business to me. I ain't above talking to a handsome young female when I get the chance.
Stop. Does she seem to be a person of consequence?
Well, not as a general thing, I would say, but that's not as a general rule.
You're right,
a regular marchioness, I would say.
And beautiful. Did you say that?
Yeah, I didn't, but a human chrysanthemum, I did say, sir.
It will be extremely inconvenient for me to see her. But the country is in danger, and we must not consider our own comfort. Think how our gallant fellows are suffering in the trenches. You show her up. And stop whistling instantly if you're whistling.
Ain't it? Well, you just wait till you see her.
Augustus produces a mirror, a comb, and a pot of moustache pomade from a drawer of the writing table, and sits down before the mirror to put some touches to his toilet. The clerk returns, devotedly ushering a very attractive lady, brilliantly dressed. She has a dainty wallet hanging from her wrist. Augustus hastily covers up his toilet apparatus with the Morning Post and rises in an attitude of pompous condescension.
Here she is. May I offer you a chair, lady?
Be seated, madam.
Are you Lord Augustus Highcastle?
Madam, I am.
The great Lord Augustus?
I should not dream of describing myself so, madam. But no doubt I have impressed my countrymen, and may I say, my countrywomen, as having some exceptional claims to their consideration.
Oof. What a beautiful voice you have.
What you hear, madam, is the voice of my country, which now takes a sweet and noble tone, even in the harsh mouth of high officialism.
Please go on. You express yourself so wonderfully.
It would be strange indeed if, after sitting on 37 royal commissions, mostly as chairman, I had not mastered the art of public expression. Even the radical papers have paid me the highest compliment of declaring that I am never more impressive than when I have nothing to say.
I have never read the radical papers. All I can tell you is that what we women admire in you is not the politician, but the man of action, the heroic warrior, the beau sabreur.
Madam, I beg, please, my military exploits are not a pleasant subject, unhappily.
Oh, I know, and how shamefully you've been treated. What ingratitude. But the country is with you. The women are with you. Oh, do you think all our hearts do not throb and all our nerves thrill when we heard how, when you were ordered to occupy the terrible quarry in Huluk, and you swept into it at the head of your men like a sea god riding on a tidal wave, you suddenly sprang over the top shouting, "To Berlin, forward!" dashed at the German army single-handed and were cut off and made prisoners by the Huns.
Yes, madam, and what was my reward? They said that I had disobeyed orders and sent me home. Have they forgotten Nelson in the Baltic? Has any British battle ever been won except by bold initiative? I say nothing of professional jealousy. It exists in the army as elsewhere, but it is a bitter thought to me that the recognition denied me by my country, or rather by the radical cabal in the cabinet which pursues my family with rancorous class hatred, that this recognition, I say, came to me at the hands of an enemy, of a rank Prussian.
You don't say so.
Yeah, how else should I be here instead of starving to death in Ruhleben? Yes, madam, the colonel of the Pomeranian regiment which captured me after learning what I had done and conversing for an hour with me on European politics and military strategy, declared that nothing would induce him to deprive my country of my services and set me free. I offered, of course, to procure the release in exchange of a German officer of equal quality, but he would not hear of it. He was kind enough to say he could not believe that a German officer answering to that description actually existed. I had my first taste of the ingratitude of my own country as I made my way back to our lines, because a shot from our front trench struck me in the head. I still carry the flattened projectile as a trophy. That's right. Had it penetrated to the brain, I might never have sat on another royal commission. Fortunately, we have strong heads, we Highcastles. Nothing has ever penetrated our brains.
Oh, how thrilling! How simple! And how tragic. But you will forgive England. Remember, England. Forgive her.
It will make no difference whatever my services to my country. Though she slay me, yet will I, if not exactly trust in her, at least take part in my part in her government. I am ever at my country's call, whether it be the embassy in a leading European capital, a governor generalship in the tropics, or my humble mission here to make little Pifflington do its bit. I am always ready for the sacrifice. Whilst England's remains England, wherever there is a public job to be done, you will find a high castle sticking to it. And now, madam, enough of my tragic personal history. You have called on business. What can I do for you?
You have relatives at the Foreign Office, have you not?
Madam, the Foreign Office is staffed by my relatives exclusively.
Well, has the Foreign Office warned you that you're being pursued by a female spy who is determined to obtain possession of a certain list of gun emplacements?
All that is perfectly well known in this department, madam.
Oh, is it? Who told you? Was it one of your German brothers? No.
I have only 3 German brothers-in-law, madam. Really, from your tone, one would suppose that I had several. Pardon my sensitiveness on the subject. But reports are continually being circulated that I have been shot as a traitor in the courtyard of the Ritz Hotel simply because I have German brothers-in-law. If you had a German brother-in-law, madam, you would know that nothing else in the world produces so strong an anti-German feeling. Life affords no keener pleasure than finding a brother-in-law's name in the German casualty list.
Oh, well, nobody knows that better than I. Wait until you hear what I have come to tell you. You will understand me as no one else could. Listen, this spy, this woman, well, she's close, sir. Closer than you interrupting me, as you should.
Yes, sorry. Yes?
And she's a German. She's a Hun.
Yes? Yes, she would be. Continue.
She's my sister-in-law.
I see you are well connected, madam. Proceed.
Need I add that she is my bitterest enemy?
May I?
He offers his hand. They shake fervently.
Good.
From this moment onward, Augustus becomes more and more confidential, gallant, and charming.
Quite so. Well, she's an intimate friend of your brother at the War Office, Hungerford High Castle, Blue, as you call him. I don't know why.
He was originally called the Singing Oyster, but because he sang drawing room ballads with such an extraordinary absence of expression, he was then called the Blue Point for a season or 2. Finally, he became Blue.
Oh, indeed. I didn't know. Well, Blue is simply infatuated with my sister-in-law, and he has rashly let out to her that this list is in your possession. He forgot himself because he was in a towering rage at its being entrusted to you. His language was terrible. He ordered all the guns to be shifted at once.
What on earth did he do that for?
Well, I can't imagine. But this, I know. She made a bet with him that she would come down here and obtain possession of that list and get clean away into the street with it. He took the bet on condition that she brought it straight back to him at the War Office.
Good heavens! And you mean to tell me that Blue was such a dolt as to believe that she could succeed? Does he take me for a fool?
Oh, impossible! He's jealous of your intellect.
Yes,
The bet is an insult to you. Don't you feel that? And after what you have done for our country.
Never mind that. Never mind that. It is the idiocy of the thing I look at. He'll lose his bet. and serve him right.
You feel you'll be able to resist the siren? I warn you, she's very fascinating.
You need have no fear, madam. I hope she will come and try it on. Fascination is a game that two can play at. For centuries, the younger sons of the High Castles have had nothing to do but fascinate attractive females when they were not sitting on royal commissions or on duty at Knightsbridge Barracks. By God, madam, if the siren comes here, she will meet her match.
I feel that.
Have you seen
What?
the mustache?
First to seduce you
Madam!
from your allegiance.
Oh, yeah, that, yes.
Well, she will resort to fraud, to force, to anything. She will burgle your office. She will have you attacked and garroted at night in the street.
I'm not afraid.
Oh, your courage will only tempt you into danger.
Ah,
He may get the list after all. It is true that the guns are moved, but she would win her bet.
You did not say that the guns were moved. You said that Blulu had ordered them to be moved.
Well, that is the same thing, isn't it?
Not quite. At the War Office, no doubt those guns will be moved, possibly even before the end of the war.
Then you think they are there still? But if the German War Office gets the list and she will copy it before she gives it back to Blulu, you may depend on it, all will be lost.
Well, I should not go as far as that. Will you swear to me not to repeat what I am going to say to you? For if the British public knew that I had said it, I should be at once hounded down as a pro-German.
I will be silent as the grave. I swear it.
Well, our people have for some reason made up their minds that the German War Office is everything that our War Office is not. That it carries promptitude, efficiency, and organization to a pitch of completeness and perfection that must be, in my opinion, destructive to the happiness of the staff. My own view, which you are pledged to remember not to betray, is that the German War Office is no better than any other war office. I found that opinion on my observation of the characters of my brothers-in-law, one of whom, by the way, is on the German general staff. I'm not at all sure that this list of gun emplacements would receive the smallest attention. You see, there are always so many more important things to be attended to. Your family matters and so on, you understand?
Still, if a question were asked in the House of Commons.
The great advantage of being at war, madam, is that nobody takes the slightest notice of the House of Commons. No doubt it is sometimes necessary for a minister to soothe the more seditious members of that assembly by giving a pledge or two, but the War Office takes no notice of such things.
Then you think the list of gun emplacements doesn't matter?
By no means, madam. It matters very much indeed. If this spy were to obtain possession of the list, Blulu would tell the story at every dinner table in London. And then...
And you might lose your post, of course.
Lose my post? What are you dreaming about, madam? How could I possibly be spared? There are hardly high castles enough at present to fill half the posts created by this war. No, Blulu would not go that far. He is at least a gentleman. But I should be chafed, and frankly, I don't like being chafed.
Well, of course not. Who does? It would never do. Oh, never, never.
I'm glad you see it in that light. And now, as a measure of security, I should put that list in my pocket. Now, what on earth what the dickens did I do with it? Well, that's very odd. And what is it? I thought I did put it. No, oh, here it is. That's Lucy's list. That's
Lucy's last letter. Oh, what a title for a picture play!
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Hmm.
Lucy appeals to the imagination like no other woman. By the way, here you go. I wonder if you could read it for me. Lucy is a darling girl, but I really can't read her writing. In London, I get the office typist to decipher it and make me a typed copy. But here, there is nobody.
Oh, well, it is really almost illegible. I think the beginning is meant for dearest Gus.
Yes, that is what she usually calls me. Please go on.
Oh yes, what a forgetful old something you are. I can't make out the word.
Is it blighter? That is a favorite expression of hers.
I think so. At all events, it begins with a B. What a forgetful old...
Knock, knock, knock.
Come in! What is this ridiculous mummery, sir?
They passed me. The recruiting officer came for me. I've had me 2 and 7.
I shall not permit it. What do they mean by taking my office? Good God! What? They will be taking our hunt servants next. But what did the man mean? What did he say?
He said that now you were on the job, we'd want another 1 million men. And he was going to take the old age pensioners or anyone else he could get.
And did you dare to knock at my door and interrupt my business with this lady to repeat this man's ineptitudes?
No, I came because the waiter from the hotel bought this paper. You left it on the coffee room breakfast table this morning.
It is the list! Oh, good heavens!
And he says he thinks this is the envelope belonging to it.
Oh, yes! Addressed to you, Lord Augustus. Oh, how imprudent. Everybody would guess its importance with your name on it. Fortunately, I have some letters of my own here. Why not hide it in one of my envelopes? Then no one will dream that the enclosure is of any political value. Get rid of that man.
Have you any further business here, pray?
Am I to give the waiter anything, or will you do it yourself?
Which waiter is it? The English one?
No, the one that calls himself Swiss. I wouldn't wonder if he's made a copy of that paper.
You just keep your impertinent surmises to yourself, sir. Remember that you are in the army now, and let me have no more of your civilian insubordination. Attention!
I don't know what you mean.
Go to the guard room and report yourself for disobeying orders.
Now look here, I ain't going to argue with you.
No, nor I with you. Out with you.
Seizes the clerk and rushes him through the door. The moment the lady is left alone, she snatches a sheet of official paper from the stationery rack, folds it so that it resembles the list, compares the two to see that they look exactly alike, whips the list into her wallet, and substitutes the facsimile for it. Then she listens for the return of Augustus. A crash is heard, as of the clerk falling downstairs.
I'll have the law on you for this, I will.
There's no more law for you, scoundrel. You're a soldier now. Thank heaven the war has given us the upper hand of these fellows at last. Excuse my violence, but discipline is absolutely necessary in dealing with the lower middle classes.
Serve the insolent creature right. Look, I have found you a beautiful envelope for the list. An unmistakable lady's envelope.
Excellent, excellent. It's really very clever of you. Come, would you like to have a peep at the list?
No. Oh, no, please, no.
Why? It won't bite you.
Oh, stop. Remember, If there should be an inquiry, you must be able to answer that you never showed that list to a mortal soul.
Oh, that is a mere form. If you are really curious...
Oh, I am not. I couldn't bear to look at it. One of my dearest friends was blown to pieces by an aircraft gun, and since then I have never been able to think of one without horror.
You mean it was a real gun and actually went off? How sad. How sad.
And now, Lord Augustus, I have taken up too much of your valuable time. Goodbye.
What? Must you go?
You are so busy.
Yes, but not before lunch. I mean, you know, I never can do much before lunch, and I'm no good into all the afternoon. From 5 to 6 is my real working time. Must you really go?
I must. Really. I have done my business very satisfactorily. Thank you ever so much.
Well, goodbye. 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 I'm so sorry to lose you. It's kind of you to come, but there really was no real danger. You see, my dear little lady, all this talk about war saving and secrecy and keeping the blinds down at night and so forth is all very well. But unless it's carried out with intelligence, believe me, you may waste a pound to save a penny. You may let out all sorts of secrets to the enemy. You may guide the Zeppelins right onto your own chimneys. That's where the ability of the governing class comes in. Shall the fellow call a taxi for you?
Oh, no, thanks. I prefer walking. Goodbye. Again, many, many, many thanks.
She goes out. Augustus returns to the writing table smiling and takes another look at himself in the mirror. The clerk returns with his head bandaged, carrying a poker.
What did you ring for? Don't you come near me, or I'll split your head with this poker, thick as it is.
Does not seem to me an exceptionally thick poker. I rang for you to see the lady out.
Well, she's gone. She ran like a rabbit. I asked myself, why was she in such a hurry?
Lord Augustus! Lord
Ooh.
Augustus!
She's calling you.
Well, what is it? Won't you come up?
Is the clerk there? Is he there?
Yeah.
I am here, lady.
Do you want him?
Yes.
The lady wants you at the window.
Yes, ma'am. Here I am, ma'am. What's it, is it, ma'am?
I want you to witness that I got clean away into the street. I am coming up now.
Wants me to witness that she got clean away into the street.
What on earth does she mean? Was that a laugh?
May I use your telephone?
Certainly. What number shall I get you?
The War Office. Please.
War Office.
If you will be so good.
But well, very well. Hello? This is the Town Hall Recruiting Office. Give me Colonel Bogey, sharp.
I don't think I'm awake. This is a dream of a movie picture. This is.
Oh, hold on. Would you shut up for just a second? Well, who did you want to get on to?
Lulu.
Good, very good. Put me through to Lord Hungerford Highcastle. I'm his brother, idiot. Is that you, Lulu? Hi. Lady here at Little Pifflington wants to speak to you. Hold the line. Now, madam.
Lulu. Do you recognize my voice? I've won our bet. I did. I won.
Wait, I'm sorry. You stunned me there. You bet.
Yes, I have the list in my wallet.
Nothing of the kind, madam. I have it here in my pocket.
Yes, I got clear into the street with it, and I have a witness. I could have got to London with it. Oh, Augustus won't deny it.
But there's nothing written on this. Where's
Oh,
the list of guns?
it was quite easy. I said I was my sister-in-law and that I was a Hun, and he lapped it up like a kitten.
You don't mean to say that I put on the
Over the list for a moment, and then I changed it for a piece of paper out of his stationery rack. It was quite easy.
What? What is you? Me?
No, you don't.
What? Oh, yes. I'm coming up by the 1:35. Why not have tea with me at Rumpelmeister's? Rumpelmeisters. You know, they call it Robinson's now. Yes, right. Okay, ta-ta.
Madam, I consider your conduct unpatriotic. You make bets and abuse the confidence of the hard-worked officials who are doing their bit for their country, whilst our gallant fellows are perishing in the trenches.
Oh, the gallant fellows are not all in the trenches, Augustus. Some of them have come home for a few days' hard-earned leave, and I'm sure you won't grudge them a little fun at your expense.
Here.
Oh, well, for my country's sake.
Why must the show go on? It can't be all that indispensable.
That's the end of our show tonight.
Me,
Thank you
it
so
really
much,
isn't
folks.
sensible
We
on the
love
whole
having you
to
here.
play a leading
Bravo
role.
to a
When fighting
wonderful
those fears you
cast.
can't control,
Thanks
why
to
kick up
Tina
your legs when
Overbury,
draining the dregs
Mr.
of sorrow's
Martin
bitter
Clark,
cup?
and Mr.
Because you
Russell
have read some
Porter.
idiot who said the
Bravo,
curtain must
bravo.
stay up.
Many,
I'd
many
like
thanks.
to know why a star takes bows.
This is the second to last of our Inside the Actors Quarantine adventures. So thank you for being here tonight. And please do join us again next week because it's the last one, at least for a little while. So we hope to see you then. Take good care. We love you. Good night.
Yes, we do.
Good night.
Night.